Over the last few years, Dad and I have noticed a lot of damaged boxwood. This is what we call winter damage, and generally speaking, and it's where the cold weather affects the growth on boxwoods. We used to say don't prune past August. Now we're saying don't prune past July. When you prune with the hedge trimmers, and a lot of people use electric trimmers, which I don't use, if you prune late in the season, as the last pruning, you're going to get new growth that probably is going to occur August, September, October. It's not hardened off. It's very soft. And when you get a cold winter, it damages all of that new growth. So your plant looks awful for maybe 1 or 2 months. I prefer to shear with the hand shears. And that is where you reach in. It takes a long time. And you thin out the boxwood. But again, do this before the end of July. Or you can prune like this, and the new growth will harden off for the winter. A properly pruned boxwood is not going to have a lot of damage, and it's going to have openings where you could almost see into the base of your boxwood bush. Just to review, great times to prune boxwoods are going to be April, especially end of May and June. But you'll notice this is a boxwood that we pruned last year, and we might have pruned part of it in July, part in August. And it's really filled back well. I mean, the boxwood was this high, and we pruned it back and thinned it out. But the fact that we pruned some of them a little too late meant that they produced growth that you see here, and this growth got damaged this winter. So I'm going to come in and just prune this back, and I learned that, this year I need to prune, either March, April, or May and June if I'm going to do light pruning. And I'm just going to prune out the dead. See, it's nice and green here at the bottom, so I'm going to come in here and prune that. And here's a great example of the top part that's dying, and I'm going to prune right there. This foliage never hardened off, so it had a lot of sugars in it. It was still soft and tender, and if it's sort of near the surface or the edge, you can see that it needs to be pruned, and that's where it was damaged. I'll tell you one problem that I see is a lot of commercial people prune boxwood into gumballs and gumdrops. A friend of mine from Richmond the other day said, I've got a better name for that. Meatball pruning. They look like little meatballs. So what they do is they prune them that way because we see commercial people doing it. They do it every year. So all the growth is right at the top. You need to be able to look down into your boxwood and see growth coming from the base. So that shearing, nice compact shearing, is great if you're doing topiary, if you're going to do a penguin or a polar bear or something. That's great, but that's not normal pruning. So I like to prune where I don't really shear them, nice and compact, so I don't get meatballs in a garden. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.